We're minutes away from history. On the screens right now is the countdown to 100 crore vaccination doses, 1 billion doses, and you've got just about 12,000. It's moving fast, which means that in the next few minutes, you're going to be seeing India hit that huge landmark, that world record almost, of 100 crore vaccinations. We'll be the second country in the world to do so, and this is going to be a remarkable feat. Under 10,000 now for us to hit the 1 billion vaccine dose mark. So we're counting down here on India today, and you're going to be seeing celebrations across, while each one of us has reason to celebrate this moment because we've contributed to that number. It's the healthcare workers who deserve the maximum praise. It's our healthcare heroes who we'll be focusing on here on India Today. Less than 5,000, I think in just about a few seconds we'll reach that 5,000 mark. And then, of course, you will see that number going forward. Today, right now, the vaccination pace is going strong. As you can see there in those numbers, it's gone under 4,000 now. So just a few seconds to go, really, when we're going to see 1 billion vaccine doses. That landmark being hit within 9 months of the vaccination drive kicking off in the country. This is a moment we really need to celebrate. 2,000 doses there to go, and we will be hitting the 100 crore vaccination mark. The government also will be coming together with a series of celebrations. It's coming down now. It's coming down further, which means that now, yes, it's a 3-figure mark that we need to cross. So under 100. All right, any moment now, and there you have it. Right now, 100 crore vaccination doses, 1 billion doses in the country has been administered. Huge, huge moment for India. 21st October, a date we will remember in our vaccination journey, in our fight against coronavirus. India has counted down, and we've now achieved 1 billion vaccine doses. Unimaginable record has been smashed now by the country. Each one of us has reason to celebrate today. Each one of us has contributed to this by going out there, getting the vaccine and ensuring that we take a step ahead in the fight against COVID. But the real celebration and the people we need to thank is, in fact, not just our authorities and the fact that they worked vehemently for this moment, but our healthcare heroes who overcame so many challenges to ensure this moment, to ensure that big number on your screen of 1 billion doses, of 100 crore vaccination doses being administered. In 9 months, we've achieved this. There were so many naysayers who said this is not going to happen. So many naysayers who said that, India's vaccination policy simply doesn't have everything in place to ensure we can achieve this. And look what we've done now. Like I said, each one of us has reason to celebrate. Each one of us has contributed to this. And on your screens right now, you have Prime Minister Narendra Modi there at the RML hospital along with Health Minister Mansukh Mandaviya. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is there to also celebrate with the nation, to lead the nation in not just celebrating, but also honoring and hailing our healthcare workers. At the RML hospital, he's going to be interacting with these healthcare heroes who've really achieved what many believe to be impossible, who claimed that, this would be the most difficult task yet. And it is because of our healthcare workers, the kind of time and effort that they've put in, that we've reached this stage. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, accompanied there by Health Minister Mansukh Mandaviya, making his way inside the RML hospital. He is going to be interacting with a lot of the frontline workers, healthcare workers, who've done everything they could to help our country tide over the COVID crisis, to help the country reach this stage of 100 crore vaccine doses. This is a landmark that we must remember all the time. October 21st, a day we will remember as one of the highs, really, in fighting coronavirus. And as we all come together to celebrate, I'm going to continue getting you the latest live shots of Prime Minister Narendra Modi at RML Hospital. This was from a few months ago, on April 8th, when in fact the Prime Minister had gone early in the morning to get his jab and thereby send out a message that, we will continue to ensure that we defeat vaccine hesitancy. We will ensure that we have a robust vaccine policy in place as well. On your screens right now is that very, very symbolic number of 100 crore, 1 billion being marked and counting. It's going above it. So let's hope that we end the day on a further high of not just 1 billion doses, but a lot more than that. And the fact that you've got people coming out today, getting their jab, getting vaccinated, knowing full well that they're a part of this historic moment itself tells you how far we've come in the vaccine journey, from initial hiccups in, supply shortages and whatnot, to also vaccine hesitancy. All of that has been addressed. And even in the remotest areas, you've had healthcare workers reaching there, come what may, whatever natural challenges they've overcome, to ensure that every single citizen has the opportunity to get vaccinated. If you've been vaccinated, double dose or single dose, you're a part of this figure, you're a part of this number that you see on your screens. If you haven't gotten vaccinated, what are you waiting for? Look at this number, look at this figure. This serves as a clear inspiration for all those of you who haven't gotten jabbed yet. But this is a symbolic moment in the fight against COVID, a moment that we all need to take a step back and reflect upon all that we've gone through as a nation in the fight against this deadly virus. And while we all, of course, saw moments when we thought that the vaccination drive isn't going as planned, isn't going how we need to in a nation that has such a large population, look at how it's all come together, that today we're talking about 1 million vaccine doses having been administered across the country. Yes, we still have a long way to go, because if you look at the figures, somewhere above 30% of the population has got both doses of the vaccine. That will improve in the coming days and coming months. And these numbers on your screens is proof of that, is evidence of the fact that you're going to be seeing a further improvement really in how our vaccine journey progresses. But this day, October 21st, is something we will remember as the day that India entered the 1 billion vaccine dose club. And it's a very, very exclusive, very, very limited club in which India is a part of. And for that, we need to hail our healthcare heroes for not just all that they did in saving so many lives amid the pandemic. Their work, their ordeal didn't end there, because once you had the vaccination drive starting, they again had to step in there, lead from the front, and ensure that every citizen had access to a vaccine. Also to vaccine developers, to our scientists who worked tirelessly to ensure that India has adequate supply of vaccines, and who ensured that we led the world. In a sense, the world looked at us, at how we were developing vaccines. That is something that also we need to salute today. So it's a moment to really reflect on the entire vaccine journey, and also a moment to reflect on what lies ahead of us. We simply cannot afford to let our guard down right now, even as you see that the vaccination drive finally seems to be going as scheduled, as tracked. Milind Sharma is joining us with more on this. Milind, you've been tracking the entire journey of the vaccination drive from day one, from 9 months ago. And today we're talking about 1 billion doses. It's been a long journey. Look, it's been an arduous journey, but one that, if you reflect upon, seems to be going on track finally now.
So definitely, Akshita. In fact, that is why the Prime Minister today has taken out time to salute the healthcare workers and the frontline workers that have been on the front of the vaccination drive. And remember that on India Today, we had been told by sources that definitely this is the moment that the Prime Minister will look to thank the healthcare workers for a mammoth vaccination 1 billion target that India has been able to achieve at this point. So he's at the RML hospital in the national capital, and he will be, as we are being told, interact with a few healthcare workers, because they truly deserve the salute that the country has achieved this target for. Also not forgetting that vaccines were made available in the time when we saw vaccine shortage as well. And now with India becoming a vaccine surplus nation, it's not just the 1 billion target, but India has also started the Vaccine Maitri initiative. So the vaccines are being given to other countries as well from us. And especially when we talk about the vaccine makers as well, the Serum Institute of India's Covishield, India's own made Bharat Biotech vaccine, as well as Sputnik, they've also been big contributors to India's massive vaccination drive, to India's vaccination progress. And that also goes to see how India will move forward from here. Akshita, the next big target is going to be vaccinating all eligible population before December, or before the end of this year. That is the next big target in India, already having achieved 1 billion vaccinations. It's going to push for an aggressive campaign that we're told by the Health Ministry sources for those people who have not taken their second dose yet, because remember, one dose gives you enough protection, but the second dose is essentially going to act like a booster to help protect against COVID-19, to help bring normalcy back into the lives of people, to help revive the economy, to help revive jobs and travel and a lot of other things that India needs at this point of time. And it's a huge achievement in itself. In a record time, India has gone ahead and done 1 billion vaccinations within the country. And definitely in remotest of areas, there are states that have performed really well as well in ensuring that healthcare workers, frontline workers, as well as the eligible vulnerable population above 60 is vaccinated in time, and also looking at the above 18 years vaccination. One very important milestone for India is also that we're looking at children's vaccine as well, because now they are the vulnerable population that has to be the next target for the government. So working on track and looking at providing vaccines to the remotest corners of the country. And this is something that has been achieved by the grit and determination of the healthcare workers across India that came together in the time of crisis. As we see, Akshita, where the Prime Minister has time and again in his addresses thanked not just the doctors, but the nurses, the medical staff, the ASHA workers, the A&M workers that have toiled when we were locked up inside our homes in a lockdown. They were the ones who were out there working round the clock in hospitals, ensuring that people's lives are saved. And this happens to be a great achievement, and an ode to that, Akshita.
Absolutely. And we'll continue getting all the latest updates that are coming in from the RML hospital where the Prime Minister currently is. He's going to be interacting with healthcare workers, but there are going to be celebrations, moments to mark this day across the country. I want to take this across to our reporters across India to tell you what really the plans are. Nolan Pinto is joining us live from Bengaluru. We have Prema Rajaram joining us from Kolkata. Nolan, to you first. Good morning. A historic day for all of us. Tell us really what are the plans in Karnataka, because in every state we're being told that the administration, the government is planning big bang celebrations to mark this day.
Well, in fact, it is actually a very big day when many people actually believe that this was not possible. The government, the union government, as well as the state governments have worked together in order to do this. Now, in Karnataka also, the Chief Minister, when B.S. Yadurappa was the Chief Minister, and now as well with Bommai, they have stated that by the end of December, all the adult population of Karnataka will be vaccinated, at least with a single dose. So as of now, in Karnataka today, 6 crore odd people have received their vaccination. 4 crores have actually got the single dose, and 2 crore odd people have received both the doses. So in Karnataka, work is on, a lot of campaigns going on to make sure and tell people that the vaccine is important, it can save your life, and people are actually coming out.
I think we have to salute our healthcare heroes, salute every citizen really who's been a part of this journey. And this has been an effort from everywhere. It's not just the centre, the states, everyone came together to ensure that this moment was possible of hitting 1 billion doses. Prema Rajaram is joining us live from Kolkata. Prema, in Bengal also, the challenges of holding an election amid a pandemic, the challenges of ensuring your vaccination drive goes on track. All of that was overcome to ensure that, every citizen had an access to a jab.
Absolutely, Akshita. What was heartwarming was that it was not just the private hospitals or even the government centers and hospitals that came forward to vaccinate people. There was a huge rush in the last few months, but even various establishments, whether it was housing complexes or even workspaces that took the initiative to vaccinate their people. And I think that is something that many people really appreciate. Instead of running from one place to another looking for a vaccine, they had the vaccination the centers over there. They had other options as well. So it was the healthcare workers who took the initiative to encourage people to come out and take the vaccine, because they were the first few to get the vaccination, and encourage people and say that there are no major side effects which people were scared of. So to see that many people have come forward, taken the vaccine, and as far as Bengal is concerned, as of October 20th, around 6 crore of the population has already taken, more than 6 crore. In fact, it's 6 crore 82 lakh people have taken the vaccine when it comes to first and second doses, of which close to 5 crore people have taken the first dose and close to 2 crore people have taken the second dose of the vaccine. So these are figures that are coming in from West Bengal. The vaccination drive was suspended during the festive season of Durga Puja, but it's back again. We are at the state-run SSKM hospital. People are waiting here, and what they tell us is, though the wait might be a little bit, but they are getting their vaccination, and that is good news for the people of West Bengal and, of course, for the people of India. Back to you, Akshita.
Absolutely. And it's so heartening to see that number on your screens there continuing to go up. 1 billion doses and counting currently in India. This is a vaccination drive that initially had a number of hiccups, but it got on track. It got where we needed it to get, and especially, with the second wave hitting us and whatnot, there were points where it looked like we wouldn't be able to celebrate this kind of a milestone for quite some time. But the government has maintained that they're going to stick to a fact, ensuring that the adult population is vaccinated as soon as possible. And Milind Sharma is also with us. Milind, there's been time and again a discussion of the government's deadline that by end of this year, the entire adult population will be vaccinated. Is that still going to happen? It definitely looks like we're on the right track.
Well, definitely, Akshita, that is what we've been told is the next big target that the government will be looking at, and it's a very important target. Not just because, there are people who have taken their first shot, but also people now need to come out in more numbers and take their second dose as well. And that is something that will lead to a larger amount of protection from COVID-19. And definitely that is when we'll be able to say that the maximum amount of people in the country would become fully vaccinated, because now we know from official figures about 75% of India's eligible population has been vaccinated with at least dose 1. But it is very important, and you and I and everyone as we speak, it's very important to take the second jab of the COVID-19 vaccine as well. And that seems to be the topmost priority, even as the world is looking at using booster doses to vaccinate, the third dose that the world is currently looking at. But India is very certain that first we have to finish with our mammoth population of second dose vaccination, and only after that we should move to looking at any sort of booster, if at all that's needed. But remember, the vaccination drive has been largely a success also because India has seen lesser amount of vaccine hesitancy when it came to taking the vaccine as compared to other countries. Hitting the 1 billion mark has also been possible because of the contribution, because of the understanding that the pandemic has affected daily life, and the people were also vaccine enthusiasts because we saw shortage of vaccinations. Remember, vaccine centers running dry as people rushed to get their jab, and that was the big challenge that India had to look at and cross over today with the healthcare workers. They're working round the clock to ensure we hit that 1 billion mark, Akshita.
All right, Milind, we'll keep coming across to you as you join us live on this broadcast. I want to also bring in quickly Kumar Kunal. He's reporting from outside the RML hospital in Delhi. That's where the Prime Minister currently is. Kumar, good morning. A historic day, and the Prime Minister is leading the nation's celebrations by thanking, honouring our healthcare heroes who've gone above and beyond to ensure this moment. It's because of them that we're able to talk about a successful vaccine drive right now.
Good morning, Akshita, and absolutely right that the healthcare workers are actually the engine of the whole vaccination drive, and they are driving this the whole, you can say, the vaccination drive on their own shoulders. And that's why Prime Minister Narendra Modi is right now present inside the Ram Manohar Lohia hospital, which is a central government-run hospital. And he is spending the time with the healthcare workers who actually made it possible to achieve 1 billion doses of the vaccine. But as Milan was telling that there are still some challenges, there is still some gap between what should be achieved. But right now it's an occasion to celebrate, and that's why Prime Minister Narendra Modi is leading the country in that celebration and actually spending some time with the healthcare workers who are actually the real hero of the whole vaccination drive. And as we will move ahead, there are concerns about the second dose vaccination. There are some talks about the vaccination of those who are below 18 years of age group. All those things will be taken care of in days to come. That's what we are getting from our government sources. But right now, main focus is on vaccinating the whole eligible population, which is 18 plus year age group. Till now, only 31% of the population is vaccinated with a double dose. So that is the clear focus right now. But right now, Mansukh Mandaviya, who is the health minister, he is inside. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is inside. Mansukh Mandaviya is going to launch the campaign song today at Lal Killa. So all these celebrations will take place today. So today we don't have to look too many things how the vaccination drive will take place in future, but it's a time when we need to celebrate, we need to ponder, we need to thank those healthcare workers who took all the challenges. Once you must be remembering that when the vaccination doses were not available in the countries, in many states, even state government were under pressure. These healthcare workers were under tremendous pressure to overcome all those challenges. Now it's time to celebrate, and that's why this moment is very, very special for all the countrymen, and especially the healthcare workers and those who are involved with the whole vaccination drive.
Right.
Those companies who are providing vaccines, all are here at this time. We need to thank all of them.
That's right, and that's why the Prime Minister, as you mentioned, Kumar, is where you are at the RML hospital along with Health Minister Mansukh Mandaviya. So we will stand by for the address where the Prime Minister is going to be interacting with the healthcare workers at the RML hospital also, who've been doing all they can to ensure that we reach this milestone today, that we're here celebrating this remarkable achievement of 1 billion vaccine doses. Yes, there were a lot of hiccups. Yes, we do have challenges in the road ahead also, but it's important to highlight this kind of a landmark, this kind of an achievement, because we've reached here thanks to every single citizen who's gone out there and gotten the jab. I want to take this across also to Akshay Nath, who's joining us from Chennai. Akshay, I've been highlighting how, this has been a collective effort. We saw, some politics along the way, and I don't want to talk about that today because this is a moment to remember our highs as well. And we've seen, the central government, the state governments all working round the clock, the local administration, all of them ensuring they do their bit to curb vaccine hesitancy. And initially, that was a serious problem in states like Tamil Nadu.
Well, yes, Akshita, right when the vaccination drives had started, we had seen how Tamil Nadu was one of the lowest vaccinated state. But after that, we're seeing that continuous awareness campaigns, drives and special camps that are being held in across Tamil Nadu. There are already 5 camps which are over, and the 6th camp is to take place on Saturday, the 23rd of this month. And we're seeing that these kind of drives have motivated more people to come and get themselves inoculated. And it is a very, very big number, Akshita. We are being told that more than 60% of the state population have at least got a single dose. And, till Friday, almost 50 lakh doses are going to be administered across Tamil Nadu. And as far as Kanchipuram, Chennai, Nilgiris are concerned, these places have seen very, very high number of inoculation. Close to 91% is the vaccination ratio that is being told in Kanchipuram. And similarly, Chennai and Nilgiris is also just behind. And we are also seeing that people between the age group of 18 to 44 and 45 to 59, they have also been coming forward to get themselves vaccinated. Only the 60 and above age group, we've seen 45% vaccinated vaccination so far. That is a very low number, and again the State Department is trying to increase that number of vaccination also. And Akshita, as you were saying, the vaccine hesitancy which was there was completely taken away after this kind of mega vaccination camps that were being conducted every Sunday, and now we're seeing that close to 11 lakh people are expected to be vaccinated in the upcoming vaccination camp that is going to be happening on the 23rd. So we're seeing that the state government along with the central government have been working really hard, and on Monday the state health minister Mansukh Mandaviya, who has always been saying that the centre has not been giving them enough number of vaccines, has also credited the central government. Now he's even told that because of the DMK's effort, the centre is also providing a more number of vaccines to the state without any hesitancy or delay, and that is also one of the reasons why the drive is continuously happening in the state. So we're seeing that there's a lot of positivity between the state and the central government as far as the vaccination drives are also concerned, and the number of people who have been stepping forward to get vaccinated is only increasing. But even those few who have that hesitancy to come and get vaccinated are also being requested continuously by the central and state government. So we're seeing a positive change across the country and in Tamil Nadu as well, Akshita.
And to celebrate this moment of 1 billion doses and counting, you're going to be seeing all monuments being lit up across the country. This isn't a celebration limited to one part of India. The entire country, every citizen who's added to that figure is going to be celebrating today, thanking our healthcare warriors, thanking our frontline heroes, and also considering the circumstances that we've seen some of these vaccination drives happening in. We had some very, very telling images through the last many months of healthcare workers overcoming some of the most, aggressive terrains, getting to these villages which are so remote and ensuring they also had access to these vaccines. The local administration working in tandem with centre, state governments to ensure that everyone had access to these vaccines. Our scientists who've done such a great job in developing India's vaccines, addressing shortage issues as well, ensuring that we have adequate supply, all of them are the ones we need to celebrate today as we talk about 1 billion vaccine doses being administered in 9 months in India. These images that you see on your screens were from a few moments ago when the Prime Minister arrived at the RML hospital. You can see that he was accompanied by Health Minister Mansukh Mandaviya. In about 15 minutes from now, we're expecting his interaction with the healthcare heroes to also begin. So we've reached that landmark, that milestone of 1 billion vaccine doses, 100 crore vaccinations. Let's get you this report about exactly what this big billion means and how India managed to achieve this feat. Moving mountains in the most inhospitable terrains, ensuring no Indian is left behind. India's finally crossed the landmark 1 billion COVID vaccine doses in a little over 9 months from when the first dose was administered in January. With Prime Minister Narendra Modi and state governments leading from the front, the vaccine milestone is a feat unparalleled in modern medical history. The 100 crore doses are a turning point in India's mega pandemic fight, a shining light just ahead of India's biggest festival, Diwali. Protecting 75% of India's population with the first dose, the mammoth task saw dedication from healthcare and frontline workers who sacrificed family time to ensure the jab of life is delivered to even the last person in the queue. But challenges still remain. Nearly 70% of adult population needs to be fully jabbed.
The first dose coverage is touching, almost 80%. It will be touching 80% in a few days or so. But how big is the concern that as far as the two-dose coverage is there, is just about 30%?
The immunization is not complete till both the doses have been given. With one dose, we reach a certain level of immunity. It is the second dose which exponentially raises the immunity level to the maximum possible immunity that the vaccine can give. So it is a half task done. About 10 crore individuals are due for their second dose as of now, roughly about 10 crores, and they should have received the second dose by now.
Children below 18, who make for 40% of the population, are yet to get vaccines. Zydus Cadila Zykov D and Bharat Biotech's Covaxin are, however, ready to be rolled out now.
But as a lot of people who took their first dose this summer will move forward to take their second jab, the narrowing of gap will take place, and this is what the government is expecting. And an aggressive campaign to make sure they urge people to take the second jab will be undertaken going forward by the Health Ministry as well. And that will help inoculate many by the end of December. That remains a bigger target for the government. With Sanjay Kumar in New Delhi, this is Milan Sharma reporting for India Today.
So as Milan just mentioned in that report, in months we're expecting that number to go up further as people who got their first jab will be due to get their second jab in the next few weeks and next few months as well. We're getting you reports from across the country to tell you exactly how every Indian right now is so proud of that number that you see on your screens of 1 billion vaccine doses and counting being administered in the country in a matter of 9 months. And this is a collective effort that's led to this moment. It's a collective effort that's led to all of us celebrating. I want to take this across now to Rohit Singh, who's joining us live from Patna. In parts of Bihar, Rohit, it's some of the most remote villages. You had the local administration working with healthcare warriors, all of them coming together to ensure that vaccines were available for every single person in Bihar.
Well, absolutely. As far as Bihar is concerned, till now, approximately 6.5 crore doses have been administered to the people of the state, and that's a big number. And considering the fact that Bihar is a backward state and almost like 4 to 5 months in the back, it has been battling with floods also. So you can understand the condition of the state that 17 to 18 districts have been flood ravaged, and in those areas carrying out the vaccination drive was the biggest challenge for the state government. And in those circumstances also the state government resorted to Tika Wali now. You see that there were boats that were put in deputed, and several nurses, healthcare workers, they were going on the boats to flood ravaged areas, to the villages, those are flood affected, and carrying out the vaccination drive. So it was a Herculean task, especially in Bihar, considering that it's not only backward, but also that several areas of the state was also under flood for 4 to 5 months back. So that was a big challenge. But now we are seeing that the vaccination drive is going on across the state. In fact, 100 crore doses have been administered across the country, out of which approximately 6.5 crore doses have been given in Bihar itself. And Nitish Kumar himself has also set up a task for him, sort of a challenge of giving 6 crore jabs to the people in 6 months. So this, in fact, started in July this year, and by December, the state government is hoping that 6 crore people will be administered doses as far as the state government is concerned.
I think from my conversation with all of our reporters, it's clear that the state government also has set certain missions of their own that they believe they must achieve in the coming months to ensure that the vaccine drive, as is right now, continues to progress further, and we continue to break and shatter more records. This is a very exclusive club that India has entered now of 1 billion vaccine doses having been administered. Yes, there are still very much challenges ahead, especially if you look at the kind of numbers that have emerged. It's very clear that we still need to work on how many people have been administered their second vaccine dose, have been completely inoculated. That number is slightly lesser than what we'd like it to be, but that is something that the administration is working on. And with no issues anymore of vaccine shortages or any of that, this seems achievable. It definitely seems like something that in the next few months we will improve upon as well. And as we get in our reporters on this as well, I also want to get in Prema Rajaram. She's joining us from Kolkata. Prema, you know, the government, the Mamata government also is focused a lot on the vaccination drive. There were initial hiccups with regards to vaccine supply issues, shortages and the likes. But what is the target that they have set now for the state?
Well, as far as the initial hiccups were concerned, yes, there were those hiccups, but the state government was very aggressive in getting the vaccination drive, across the state, making sure that the vaccination did not just take place in Kolkata, but even the districts. And there were hiccups in the districts as well. There were people running to government hospitals and complaining of not getting the vaccines, but all that has eased out now, and that is the good news. Even when people have to wait in line, they don't mind doing that because they know they are going to get the vaccine, and that surety is what is encouraging, because the state government is encouraging people to come out and take that vaccine. As far as a target is concerned, the state government has not really set any major target, but they have been confident that most people will come out and take the second dose. Like you were mentioning, most people have taken their first dose. Some people are still to take the second dose, and maybe that disparity is still there, but people will have to take their second dose at some point in time, and the vaccination centers, whether private or government centers, are waiting for people to come in and take those vaccines. So there is no vaccine shortage, which is the good news. Vaccines are available, and encouraging more people who had the fear psychosis to come forward and even take their first dose. So that is something which is a challenge for the state government, considering the fact that there have been festivities here in West Bengal. There have been elections as well. So it is of course a target for the state government to vaccinate majority of its population over here. Back to you, Akshita.
Absolutely, and to overcome all of those challenges, to ensure that every citizen has an access to a vaccine and every citizen gets the jab, to overcome vaccine hesitancy was also one of the biggest challenges that we saw. But it's something that we've been largely successful in. Yes, we have miles to go really at this point, and especially in some of these villages where there are still a lot of rumors that do the rounds about these vaccines. Something like this moment of celebrating 1 billion doses will encourage all those who've been hesitant to get the vaccine to go ahead. The world will watch this moment and take notes from how India successfully implemented this vaccination drive on such a huge, massive population. We've been very, very successful. There were initial hiccups, as all of us have been discussing. We can't really overlook those or, paint over those kind of hiccups. But having said that, right now we're on track. And hopefully in the months to come, we'll be discussing a lot more such milestones, a lot more such landmarks as well. I also want to take this across to Kumar Kunal, who's reporting from the RML hospital, because Kumar, where you are is where Prime Minister Narendra Modi in about 10 minutes from now is going to be speaking to healthcare heroes, the warriors who through this pandemic from the very beginning saved lives and then couldn't let up in the fight against COVID, because once the vaccines were through, again the onus was on them to ensure that every single one of us got the jab.
Yes, and you are right, and this is the center of celebration which is going to happen today and even in the time to come. And I will show you one of the posters which has been put up just outside the Ram Manohar Lohia hospital, where Prime Minister is present right now. There is a big cutout of Prime Minister Modi himself, and there is a celebratory message also written over the poster. Although the poster has been put up by the BJP, so politically as well, this achievement is going to we will hear about all this achievement in times to come. But right now, what is more important, that Prime Minister is present among the healthcare workers. You actually mentioned that they are the real heroes of the whole vaccination drive. The kind of challenges that they took on their soldiers, that's what was most important in last few months. Actually, we were talking with the Patna and Kolkata reporters, and they told us that there are different kind of challenges in different states. As far as Delhi is concerned, almost 2 crore vaccinations, vaccination doses have been given to the administered to the residents of Delhi, but still a long way to go.
Absolutely, Kumar. I'm slipping into a very short break here on India Today. I also want to show you those images of Health Minister Mansukh Mandaviya celebrating this feat. He was seen distributing sweets to many of the healthcare workers at the RML hospital. So even from moments from now, you're going to have Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacting with these healthcare workers as we take a look at those numbers which continue to climb up of the number of vaccine doses being administered here in India.